Hi everyone, I'm Karan and welcome to Karan's Gyan. The stock on focus for today is Embassy Office REIT. Today the date is 23rd June and a news broke out this evening that Blackstone would sell about 7% of its stake in Embassy Office REIT. So currently Blackstone has about a 55% stake in the company, and when it sells this 7% stake, that stake would be worth around $257 million. So the news is Blackstone will sell its stake in Embassy Office REIT for $257 million in a block deal. So, before delving into this news, I would explain what is an REIT, as many of you might not know what REIT stands for. What is a REIT? REIT stands for Real Estate Investment Trust. REIT is a company that basically owns and operates income producing rental properties. As you know, mutual funds, they take in a pool of money from various investors. Various investors pool in money, and this money which is pooled in by various investors is basically handled by fund managers that buy shares and basically manage their money. So basically, an REIT is a mutual fund but for properties. So what generally happens is investors would basically buy shares of REIT, and just like units in mutual funds, investors would buy units of REIT, and REIT would use the proceeds of money gotten from investors to acquire various assets. And since they have acquired a lot of properties, they will put these properties on rent, and they would be getting a rental income on the properties. Now the rental income which REIT would be receiving, it would distribute back to its investors based on the units they have, just like how a mutual fund works. So what happens is, similar to mutual funds, REIT pool the capital of various investors. This makes it possible for investors to earn dividends from real estate investments without having to buy, manage, or finance any properties themselves. Now, there is no headache for investors. They don't have to buy a property, they don't have to look for a property, they don't have to get a renter for that property. So a lot of headache is gone away from investors' mind, and investor can basically invest some money and get dividends based on the money he has invested without any tension, without any inconvenience, or without any problems. So REITs have to pay a minimum of 90% of income to shareholders. So since REITs have bought assets, and suppose the assets give REIT an income of 100 crores a year, so REIT has to distribute 90% of that income. REIT has to distribute about 90 crores, minimum 90 crores of the income back to the investors. And REIT is responsible for owning and operating these income producing spaces. So in this case, Embassy Office REIT owns and operates various income producing office spaces. As you see, office parks, real real estate investment trust. So Embassy Office Parks owns a lot of offices in Bangalore, and that offices are on rent to a lot of blue chip companies, and these blue chip companies obviously pay Embassy Office some rent. And since Embassy Office Parks is an REIT, the investors that have bought units of this REIT, they would get uh, the rental income from these assets based on the units they have. Okay, now let's move on to the news. Before moving on to the news, I'll tell you something else about this company, Embassy Office REIT. Explained you what an REIT was. More about Embassy Office REIT. Embassy Office REIT is basically India's first publicly listed REIT. Generally, REITs are not publicly listed. Embassy Office Park is a joint venture between a Bangalore-based property developer, Embassy Group. So all those people who have lived in the IT hub Bangalore, of course they would have heard about Embassy Office Group, and of course they would have, in fact, worked in an Embassy Office Park. And it is a joint venture between Embassy Group and a private equity firm, Blackstone. So, as if you don't know much about Blackstone, I'll tell you Blackstone is the world's biggest alternative asset manager. So, alternative assets are assets that give you the fixed income, basically, like properties, bonds, or other assets. So, that's an alternative asset. Something that's alternative to share market. Okay, now getting back to the news, key takeaways. Blackstone is selling 7% of its stake in Embassy Office REIT. It currently holds about 55% of the stake, so it'll be left with about 48% of the stake. The trade is happening at a price band of 340 to 350 rupees per unit, which is about a discount of 3.5% to 6.7%. That means it is having at a discount price. This block deal is having at a discount price. Just so that you know, Embassy Office REIT, it it closed at about rupees 365 rupees today, which is 23rd June again. And this block deal would happen tomorrow, which is 24th June. The sale of REIT units comes after media reports on Friday that said IBM is considering ending its leases. Now, as you guys must know that since coronavirus is going on and a lot of companies are having work from home, and since Embassy Office REIT is basically a Bangalore-based office leasing company, a lot of IT firms are sending their are have their employees at work from home, and basically their office spaces are going unused. And IBM sorts of feels that its work from home policy is doing well. It's doing well from what they expected, and they feel that they need to end the leases, because what's the point of having an office space which is just a extra expense when your employees can work from home and give you the same performance. So that is the point. IBM is considering ending leases for nearly half of its office space in India amid increasing acceptance of flexible working options such as work from home. But these are just media reports. This is not a confirmation, but it can be true, it can be false, but it is something to consider. IBM is the single largest tenant of Embassy Office REIT and nearly contributes to 12% of its rental income. Maybe this is the reason why Blackstone wants to sell 7% of its stake in Embassy Office REIT. However, Embassy Office REIT management said that while work from home has worked very well for companies in the lockdown period, it won't be viable in the long run, and it feels there is no major impact on its business. Now, this again is debatable, because if there are media reports that IBM is considering ending its leases, maybe the Embassy Office REIT management is wrong. However, it can be right, because any company would need an office space, because we are still primitive in our thinking, and we still would prefer to go to an office to understand the company better. The size of the office, the luxuriousness of the office plays a role in our mind when we are seeking a company to provide our business to. In the near term, REIT has a lot of upcoming lease expiries and renewals. This is about 1.4 million square feet of its portfolio, which is about 5.5% of its rental income. So this again is a near term driver that says Embassy Office REIT can be in trouble, because if some companies in this turbulent times don't want offices anymore and they find that a work from home option is cheaper, they might not choose into extending their lease, and as a result this 5.5% of their rental income can be in trouble, apart from the rental income that is already in trouble because of IBM considering ending its leases. Alright, so guys, this is pretty much it about Embassy Office REIT. Research about Embassy Office REIT, but what I can tell you is for the coming days, please do not invest in this share, because there are a lot of hurdles this company will be facing in the coming weeks, And be careful before investing in Embassy Office REIT. Expect a fall in the price of Embassy Office, because tomorrow there's anyways a block deal, and there's a discount of 6.5 3.5 to 6.5%. So expect a total 10% drop. I'll give you a target of about 350 rupees. So target is about, not, I'll give 350 rupees a little bit good target. I'll give you a target of about 335 rupees. And this can be a good target for you if you want to short this stock for tomorrow. And so guys, this is it. If you like this video, please press the like button and share it with your friends.